Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is still your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we discuss the Breitling Premier B01 Chronograph 42 Boutique Edition. 42 millimeters in rose gold. This watch is a 250-piece limited edition featuring rich refinements in rose gold. 42 in diameter. The watch is 14 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 49.5 millimeters with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference and it wears comfortably, though large. I would not recommend this watch for a wrist smaller than mine, though if your wrist is my size, I think you're going to find it wears just fine. The further I move away from the camera, the better it looks proportionally. Remember, I'm not a small guy, I just have a thin wrist. It's not particularly thin, but it will fit underneath a jacket cuff. And again, from over the top, the lugs are not over the edge of my wrist, and this is the angle that always exaggerates the width of the watch. Down the barrel, you can see how much clearance I have on each side. The strap is beautiful. Large rectangular scale alligator leather with a contrasting stitch. Very different from what you find on a standard Breitling Pilot's watch or Premier, where you're often going to see calfskin. Gator is more expensive, and this large rectangular symmetrical scale gator is the most expensive cut. We have a semi-gloss finish in medium brown, the contrasting stitch, a sheer cut side showing that Breitling does not short you the leather. It's very thick. There's some bolstering or stuffing in there to give it volume. Calfskin on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging, a brand new Breitling factory strap. This watch has a full folding clasp. Not every Premier does, but this is a Premier. So we've got a satinated and polished twin trigger release single fold deployant, adding both actual value to the watch, but also protection against dropping your heavy and expensive chronograph. The Premier draws on the imagery of the 1950s and Breitling's historic Premier models. So we have these Art Deco or late Art Deco gadroons in the mid case, and then we have overlapping bezel and case back, both of which are polished. The bezel features several facets, a very short vertical step, and then there's a sloped profile, and then finally a flange where it abuts a dramatically boxed and cambered sapphire designed to look like a 1950s plexiglass. This one still has the packing stickers on it, so somebody had no fun with this watch. We buy a surprising number of watches from people who just bought the watch and then lost their nerve and wanted to sell before they scratched it. But hey, if you want the full Breitling experience on the boutique edition, you're going to get the boutique experience with this one. His loss is your gain. The mid case is satinated, and you can see that there's a polished bevel that wraps around the end of the lugs, which is a nice design treatment. We have this rather sharply knurled crown that's a pleasure to grip and easy on which to gain purchase. We have vintage-inspired rectangular chronograph pushers, including a polish along the edge. You can see there's polish along the edge, so there's beveling on the edge of each pusher, but then there's satin on its outer face. So it is a remarkably sophisticated finish for a small part. There are no afterthought styling elements here. Even those pushers have been thoroughly styled. The dial is simple. Twin register chronograph. We have rose gold hands and indices, which I believe are rose gold plated steel in this case. And then we have a tachymeter outboard, which can be used in conjunction with the chronograph seconds hand to gauge speed. The classic example, always a race car over a kilometer. And in true 1950s fashion, as opposed to 60s or 70s, the tachymeter is on the dial rather than the bezel. The dial is a silver sunburst with a frosted opaline texture on the tachymeter. Sub-registers feature a little bit of a countersink and then concentric patterns internally. We'll do a loom shot just so you know exactly what you're getting into. Loomed hour and minute hands, but that is it. The chronograph uses an ultra-crisp column wheel, one of the best in the business, the Breitling B01 column wheel, for feel and sound. And then a vertical clutch, meaning there's no additional play in the mechanism, no stagger or leap forward when you engage the clutch. The vertical clutch, very smooth, and no additional wear and tear. If you like to leave your chronograph running full-time, you can do so on this watch without breaking a sweat. We have a stop seconds or hacking feature. Then we also have a quick set feature that allows me to rapidly cycle the date if I need to. All this, as you can see, in a case that is 100 meters water resistant. And on the reverse side, you can see a slightly more luxurious take on caliber B01. You can see the rotor here made of rose gold with a combination of snailing and a radial brushing. We have black polished screws, stripes across this movement. It is a mechanically finished movement, but a handsome one that nicely fills the case back and looks quite attractive. 4 Hz beat rate, fine adjustment done with Edicron. This is the 41 joule version of the B01 because it's the twin register. Adjusted in 5 positions. It is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. And it has a 70-hour automatic winding power reserve. You could see that column wheel, which hath wrought such outstanding feel. If you love this watch, and you want to rock mid-century style Breitling with boutique refinements and outstanding condition, reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.